Well, hello VC. Pretty Green Vinyl Guy here. Long time no see. It's been a really busy couple of months. I've been over to Europe for work and a little vacation with my wife in Sicily. But all along I've been accumulating vinyl. This is a vinyl update and some used vinyl and also some couple of new purchases. So I'm just going to crack through these because I've actually accumulated quite a bit. So first, we'll start off with the Velvet Underground. This is Velvet Underground and Nico. This is actually a reissue on the 180 vinyl, but I didn't have this, and it was in the used bin at my local record shop, so pick that up. We all know what that is with the iconic Andy Warhol front cover. This is John Lennon, Plastic Ono Band. I don't have this. This is on the Apple label. And this is probably his best solo album. So I'm super excited to pick this up on the Apple label. It's a nice one. This one actually was playing in my local record shop when I was in there. And it was really cool. And I asked the owner, what is that playing? And he said that is Keith Emerson and the Nice from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And this sounds really great. Really sort of haunting keyboard, prog rock, I guess, at its finest, but just sounded really interesting. So I asked him if it was for sale, and he said it was, so I picked that up. So super excited for that. This is actually one I picked up. I was up in Kelowna, which is in the interior of British Columbia, where I live, working at a conference. And I went into the local shop there and I picked up a Pretty Things. This is Parachutes. And I've been looking for some Pretty Things for quite a while on vinyl. And, it's not like the UK where it's common. So this is a great pickup. I'm super excited to have this. And it's in very nice shape. So that's going to be awesome. And while I was up there, I also picked up Pink Floyd's The Final Cut. This was an upgrade. I already did have this, but this is a very nice, clean, original copy, so that's cool. And I also picked up, this is really interesting, this is BDI. This was Liam Gallagher's project when he left Oasis. This was the first album, which was the better of the two. This had the roller on it, and Bring the Light, which was a great little power pop tune. Different gear, still speeding, double vinyl. Found it in Kelowna, British Columbia. Very bizarre original UK pressing. So very cool. Then we got good old classic here. A little bit of Devo. I didn't have this. I'm a huge Devo fan, and super excited to have this. So, Devo. Here's a classic from the 70s, Warren Zevon. This is, of course, Excitable Boy. This is a very good album. Most known for Werewolves of London. But this is an exceptional album all the way through. There's not really a stinker on this. Much overlooked on the VC, Warren Zevon. Highly recommend this album. It's very good. Here's one from my youth when I was a punker. This is Husker Dus, Zen Arcade. This is also a reissue. It's not an original. I think it's on the 180 gram. I haven't even opened this one yet, but this is a great album as well. I listened to this on my Walkman for days on end. So Husker Du, Zen Arcade. It's another good one from the past. The Infect It. Also a great album and not widely heard of on the VC. You get a chance to find these. These are cheap. You get these in the cheap bin sometimes, but get Infect It. Great album. The. A little bit of the Stooges featuring Iggy Pop. This has I Want to Be Your Dog on it. And Again, I haven't listened to this either, but it's on the Electra Red label. It's going to be a good one. This one I was super excited to find. I'm a big fan of this band, and I've never seen this on vinyl. This is Echo and the Bunnymen. This is their greatest hits. Songs to Learn and Sing. This has all the hits on it. The Killing Moon, Bring on the Dancing Horses, all those great songs from their first, like from Crocodiles. Just an amazing best of here, all their singles. Never seen this on vinyl before. Super excited to find that. Then we got Roger Waters, Radio Chaos. I've never owned this. I'm familiar with it. I have listened to it. It's kind of cool. I like the little radio ads in between the songs. I'm actually going to see Roger Waters on Saturday night in Vancouver, so this will be a good warm-up. Radio Chaos. This is a classic that I didn't have in my collection. Black Sabbath, Paranoid. Of course, this has the famous War Pigs and Paranoid on it. Iron Man. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not really a heavy metal, hard rock guy, but I do like certain things. And, yeah, I'm excited to have this. All right. Here's one that I was missing from my Bowie collection. A really nice Scary Monsters original release in pristine shape. So I'm very excited to have that. You can see the album artwork itself is in perfect condition, so very excited to have that. Scary Monsters. A little bit of Prague. Yes, Fragile. This, of course, has the roundabout on it. And yeah, this is in a decent condition. I did have this, but it was pretty beat up, so this is an upgrade. So that'll be good. I don't know a lot about jazz. But of course, I do know Dave Brubeck, and I do have Time Out, and I do know that Blue Rondo is a song on Time Out, and I picked this up, and this is great. This is the 1987 Dave Brubeck Quartet doing Blue Rondo, and this is recorded in some kind of high fidelity, I read somewhere, and it's a U.S. import. And this sounds really great. I just had it on in the background the other night. Very impressed. Awesome album. This was a fluke pickup because a couple of days later, unfortunately, Tom Petty passed away, sadly enough. But I had found this Full Moon Fever. So good timing. Sad. Huge album in my youth. I played this backwards, sideways, forwards, backwards. You name it. This was such a great album at the time, and I remember my roommate and we just cranked this on a Sunday morning. Great album. Sadly missed. I love Tom Petty. Here's a band that no one talks about, The Only Ones. This is a great little album, kind of almost like Ramonesy, short, quick, semi-punk songs. I don't think they ever really had a hit. I think the one song was in a movie soundtrack. What was it? I'm not even sure. But great little album, and super cool to pick that one up. Now, I'm not a country fan at all, but I used to go to this restaurant in Victoria, and they would have this jazz group playing, and they did an amazing version of Blue Skies by Willie Nelson. So Stardust, which has all his great songs on it, Georgia on My Mind, Stardust, All of Me, Unchained Melody, and of course Blue Skies. Great album. You know, it's Willie Nelson. What can you say? Even if you don't like country, you got to have a Willie Nelson album in your repertoire, right? So, yeah, good memories. But Blue Sky, that's an amazing song. Here's another one I picked up just on a whim. Another jazz album, Wes Montgomery, who was a guitar player. And but what's cool about this is there's a lot of covers on here. A Day in the Life, the Beatles, Georgia on My Mind, which we just talked about, funny enough. Eleanor Rigby, Yesterday, When a Man Loves a Woman, Scarborough Fair. So yeah, it's all jazz guitar versions of these songs. So I haven't listened to this yet, so I'm super excited. I'm going to throw this on later today. And another one that I've been trying to find to add to my Depeche Mode collection, which I think is, next to Violator, probably their best album. This is Music for the Masses. This is an original copy in pristine condition, which is what I was looking for. This, of course, has the iconic Never Let Me Down, which is just one of the greatest songs to blast. Strange Love, Behind the Wheel, Pimp. Great album. Music for the Masses, Depeche Mode. And lastly, on the used was just one I picked up because it was in great shape. And it's got all the hits on it. It's got all the love songs on it. This is the Beatles' love songs. And, something good for the background every now and again, but just really to stack the Beatles collection that I have and to add to that. So that's all my used finds over the last month or so that have been just some really good ones that I picked up. New purchases. I have 3. This one, of course, going back to Tom Petty. This one I didn't have, and I forgot how amazing this album is. My dad had this album, and he loved it because, of course, he grew up with Roy Orbison and George Harrison, and then, of course, I loved it because I loved Tom Petty, and we both loved ELO. We both loved Jeff Lynne, and Dylan, of course. How could you forget Bob Dylan? But yeah, this is honestly one of the few times where the supergroup really worked, and I love this album. And sadly, we're down to 2 Wilburys, so handle with care. This one I saw these guys on Trevor Noah. They were both the guests, Chuck D and Tom Morello. This is Prophets of Rage. So yes, it worked being on Trevor Noah because I bought your album, and I really liked what these guys had to say. It's, of course, very much about America today and what's happening with Mr. Trump. And I've given this a quick listen, and it's good. It's like, yeah, get up and get angry, and I guess that's the point. So, Prophets of Rage. I was a Rage Against the Machine fan, so I don't know a lot about rap, but of course I know who Chuck D is in Public Enemy. And lastly, this was an order that I just got, and super excited. Listened to it yesterday, like 3 times in a row. I think it's fantastic. This is Liam Gallagher, As You Were. His first solo album, post Oasis. Really great album. If you like Oasis, if you like the Beatles, John Lennon, it's got a lot of that on it. 12 songs. Side 1 is fantastic. Side 2 it's a 7 out of 10 overall. Highlights are Wall of Glass, Paper Crown is a fantastic song. There's quite a few ballads on here, which is interesting. Fantastic album, nice vinyl. Got the nice white vinyl. So yeah, that's Liam Gallagher, As You Were, his first solo album. And I think it's a really decent effort. It's better than the BDI stuff. And of course the iconic Hands Behind His Back singing at the microphone. Going to see him in Toronto next month. Yeah, end of next month in a club, which is very cool. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, that's it. Going to post another video after this one about a Canadian icon that passed this week. So thanks for watching. Hope you saw something in there that would interest you. And thanks, VC. All the best.